Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and we're going to unbox the Samsung Z Fold 2 5G. We'll unbox it, set it up, and take a first look at it. And this particular phone comes in at $2,000. It's the most expensive phone I've ever purchased, and it comes in two different colors. You've got Mystic Bronze and this one, Mystic Black. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So I've been looking forward to this phone for quite some time because I've never tried a folding phone that actually goes from smaller to bigger. So let's go ahead and open it up. I've got my unboxing tool here. Let's go ahead and slice that. And there we go. And like I said, this one is in Mystic Black, so it's a little bit different than what I've seen. I actually haven't seen one of these in person either. So it unfolds like that. It says, change the shape of the future, introducing the Galaxy Z Fold 2 5G. Reimagine the possibilities of the smartphone experience, unlock endless versatility, and enjoy unrivaled engineering and craftsmanship. Welcome to the new mobile era. Okay, let's see what we've got in here. So, of course, there's the phone. We'll look at that in a moment. Let's open this up, our little documentation or pamphlet here. So we have a separate piece with just a SIM card removal tool. We've got a quick start or quick reference guide, and then get the most out of your phone. So let's go ahead and remove the phone, see what's underneath. So it's a pretty good size. See what we've got here. We've got the Galaxy Z Premier service. And then underneath, we've got a charger. It's USB-C. And we get a cable with it. So it looks like it opens like this. And we've got a cable. It should be USB-C to USB-C. And it is. It's a black USB-C to USB-C cable, and that is all we get in this box. So no headphones or anything like that. There's no additional tools to help us move our phone from one to the other. So let me set the box aside. Now this is the phone itself, and it says care instructions. It says do not press on the screen or the front camera lens with hard or sharp objects such as a pen or fingernail. When folding the device, make sure there is no objects in the way such as cards, coins, or keys. The device is not dust or waterproof. It says exposure to liquid or small particles such as water, coffee, or sand may cause product damage such as scratches or dents on the screen. Do not remove the screen protector film and do not install other films or stickers, as doing so may cause product damage. Your device contains magnets. Keep a safe distance between your device and objects that may be affected by them. And then there's the back of it. So let's go ahead and remove this cover here. So we'll move that out of the way. And here's the device itself. And so you can see a crease down the center of it, although I'm not sure that will be a pain unless I'm using it. And then on the outside, of course, we have the phone in this Mystic Black color. Now for a size comparison, before we look at it a little bit further, here is a Note 20 5G. Or a Note 20 Ultra 5G rather. So this gives you a little bit of an idea. It's a little bit shorter from top to bottom, but obviously it's definitely wider from width-wise. And then thickness-wise, when it's unfolded, the Z Fold 2 looks a little bit thinner. And then weight-wise also, there's a little bit of a difference. So the weight of the Z Fold 2 is 282 grams or 9.95 ounces, and the Note 20 Ultra is 208 grams. Now, if you're coming from the iPhone world, the iPhone is 226 grams or 7.97 ounces, and that's the 11 Pro Max. So you can see the size comparison next to it. And then one more size comparison next to the Microsoft Duo. So here's the Duo, and this will give you an idea of its actual size. So the Duo is much wider, but of course it's got two split screens. So even if we rotate it this way, you can kind of see the difference here between the two devices. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Z Fold 2. So let me go ahead and fold it. And it is fairly thick, but it feels very premium. Now, they do offer a different color option. You can have this hinge here customized in a color. And then let's take a look around the outside edge. So on the outside, of course, you have that display. We'll talk about the displays in a moment. On the right-hand side, you've got your power button / fingerprint reader. And then above that, you have your volume rocker. On the top of the phone, you have what looks like a microphone as well as a speaker. And then on the bottom of the phone, you've got your USB-C charge port next to a microphone as well as another speaker. And so there's nothing else around the outside of the phone other than down at the very bottom right, you have your SIM card tray. Now let's go ahead and pop that out and take a closer look at it. So we'll pop out the SIM card tray, and it should support one SIM card, and then it has an eSIM. There is no upgradable storage in this option. So internally, this has 256 gigabytes of non-expandable storage. Some areas may be able to get 512 gigabytes, but not at least here in the United States yet. Now, this outside display is a 6.2-inch display measured diagonally, so it's very tall, and it's an HD Plus Super AMOLED display. It's 2260 by 816 pixels with 386 pixels per inch. It runs at 60 hertz. And then at the top of the display, we have a forward-facing camera that's 10 megapixels. It's a selfie camera with an f2.2 aperture with an 80-degree field of view. And it's the same camera that we get on the display inside as well. It's the same exact 10 megapixel camera. They've just put one in each location. Now the internal display, let's go ahead and turn it on. We'll boot it up. Hopefully it's got a charge. There we go. It's booting up. Now this internal display measured diagonally is 7.6 inches, and it's a QXGA Dynamic AMOLED 2X. It's 2208 by 1768 with 373 pixels per inch. It supports HDR10 Plus and is 120 hertz. Now, before we set this up, let's talk about the rear-facing camera. So we have a 3-camera array, very similar to what we have on the Note 20 Ultra, although it's smaller. The camera bump is a little bit smaller there. So you can see it's a little different, a little smaller. I kind of like the Note one better, but either way, it's a camera bump, and it has 3 cameras in it. The top camera is a 12 megapixel ultra wide with an f2.2 aperture with a 123-degree field of view. Below that is a 12 megapixel wide angle with optical image stabilization, and it has an f1.8 aperture with dual pixel autofocus and an 83-degree field of view. And then on the bottom, we have a 12 megapixel telephoto, again with optical image stabilization and an f2.4 aperture. We also can record in 4K 60 with these cameras, so it should be pretty good. Now internally, it's running a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus with an Adreno 650 GPU and 12 gigabytes of RAM, so it should be nice and fast. And then also, the battery is 4,500 milliamp hours split from side to side, so they're sharing it. It supports fast wireless charging and fast charging, and it also has wireless power share. It supports 5G, sub-6 and millimeter wave, has 802.11 AB, GN, AC, and AX Wi-Fi, so Wi-Fi 6, as well as Bluetooth 5.0, ultra wideband, and it runs Android 10. So let's go ahead and set it up. So we'll hit let's go. It says terms and conditions, privacy policy. We'll hit next. Some of it's optional. Now it's checking for updates now that we're connected to Wi-Fi, so we'll wait for that. Now that it's checked for an update, it didn't find anything initially. It's saying, do you want to copy apps and data? Now I did decide to bring over data from one phone to another, so I thought I'd try that. So let's go ahead and set up, I guess, fingerprints here. And we've got the fingerprint reader on the side. So I guess we'll put my finger here. There we go. I added my fingerprint. I'll go ahead and hit next. And it says adding finishing touches. Now that everything with my fingerprints set up, it wants me to sign into my Samsung account. Now it says all done. I'll hit next. And it says before you get started, it's rewarning me about not pressing on the screen wrong. We'll hit done. And also all of my data has been copied as well. So I'll go ahead and unplug this. So this is the home screen of the Z Fold 2. So you've got your standard apps installed, such as Google. You also have Microsoft. And here are the standard apps. Facebook, let's see if we can remove it. We can uninstall that if we'd like. And that's it. So this is all of the standard pre-installed apps. Of course, it's going to install more since I brought a bunch over, but you get the idea. That's pretty nice. And then also if we close this on the outside, we now have this display, and this is actually kind of interesting, like a candy bar display. Unlock it, and we're at the home screen. So again, we have a customizable screen here, and then one inside. Of course, we've got the camera as well. So if we go to the camera, And then let's see what we've got. Photos. It says done copying. And so for photos, let's go to our settings and see what we've got. So if we scroll down, you can see rear video size, front video size. So front video, resolution-wise, we have 3840 by 2160 up to 60 frames per second. And then also rear, we should have the same. So again, we have UHD or Ultra HD. So if you want to capture 4K video with video stabilization, auto HDR, grid lines, and more. And so if we go back here, flip it around, takes a second, and now you can see me on the display. So it looks okay. It's definitely doing some face smoothing. Let's open it up here. See what we've got. And just from setup, the phone is getting quite warm on the back here. So it's getting quite warm. I'm sure that's fine with setup, but you can see here's one of the sort of layouts you can do. It's kind of interesting. Take a photo like this, scroll through, go home, and then let's go to YouTube. And so here's my Note 20 Ultra 5G unboxing. If I rotate it this way, it rotates to the center. It says this app is using full screen. Can swipe up to go back. And honestly, you don't really see the crease too much when you're using it. So that looks okay. Let me turn it up to hear the speakers. The S-View flip cover. We'll take a closer look at those later in the video. Now, this Samsung Note 20 Ultra 5G, it's sort of a handful of a word, comes in at $1,299 with 128 gigabytes of storage and 12. So that looks pretty nice. The speakers sound decent. They are stereo speakers. The display does have a little bit of a ripple there. Let's add the weather information. So watching YouTube videos on this should be pretty good with stereo speakers. Let's take a look at some of the settings here. We'll go ahead and go to our settings, scroll down, see if we have a software update. See if we have anything, even though it said we didn't before. And we do have a software update, so I'll install that a little bit later. So under the software information, it says it's running One UI version 2.5 and Android 10. And then this particular device should be interesting to use. I've never used a phone that gets bigger into a tablet. And you can see here's some of the other apps it installed for me. And it should be really interesting to use. Using the outside screen seems like it'd be pretty reasonable. If we go home, you'll see it's nice and fast. And also, let's take a look at those screen refresh rate options. So let's go into settings here. Under display, you can see the brightness is quite low right now. It goes very bright. Turn it down. And then it has motion smoothness, adaptive. And then let's see what we've got here. So it's the adaptive 120 hertz display, and it runs in full resolution. So we don't lose resolution like we do on the Note 20 Ultra. So you've got standard where it'll slow down to 60 hertz to give you better battery life, but that's really it. So I'll be using this phone for a little while, and I'd love to hear what you think about folding phones in the comments below. I think they're pretty interesting. We're early on, and I like that there's innovation with things like the Surface Duo with really solid hardware and new attempts at different sort of form factors. The Z Flip is interesting. I know some people really like that, but let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, I'll link that in the description as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.